Hi, hello, welcome. Morphologically, cranial nerves can be classified into three different varieties: oculomotor, trochlear, abducent, and hypoglossal nerves supply muscles derived from cranial myotomes. These are the muscles derived from cranial myotomes, occipital myotomes, and preoccipital myotome. Preoccipital myotome gives rise to muscles of extraocular group supplied by cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6. Cranial number 12 supplies occipital myotomes, which develop into muscles of tongue. Cranial nerves 5, 7, 9, 10, and 11, they supply muscles derived from branchial arches, which develop in pharyngeal arches. Cranial nerves 1, 2, and 8, they are associated with special senses. How morphologically these are classified? To understand this, we have to look at the location of nuclei of all these nerves in brainstem. Let us observe. This is brainstem showing nuclei of different cranial nerves. Observe here, this is oculomotor nerve nucleus, trochlear nerve nucleus, abducent nerve, and hypoglossal nerve. All these being general somatic efferent, they lie in line from midline to medulla. Oculomotor and trochlear, they are situated in midbrain at the level of superior colliculus and inferior colliculus. Abducent is located in pons at the level of facial colliculus. Let me discuss on cranial nerve number 4, the trochlear nerve. The meaning: pulley. It supplies a muscle, superior oblique, which hooks around the pulley and changes its direction. Learning objectives for trochlear nerve are mentioning the functional components of trochlear nerve, explaining the nuclei and intracranial cores, extracranial cores, branches and distribution, mentioning the peculiarities of trochlear nerve, and few related applied anatomical aspects. Functional components are general somatic efferent and general somatic afferent. General somatic efferent are to supply superior oblique. General somatic afferents are proprioceptions sensed from superior oblique. However, these fibers are carried forward towards mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve. This is transverse section of midbrain at the level of inferior colliculus. Trochlear nerve nucleus is anteromedially located very much near to the central canal. The nerve fibers turn back around the central gray matter and reach the posterior part of the midline. They decussate with one another before taking origin from the posterior aspect of the midbrain. This is where trigeminal nerves are coming out from the posterior aspect of the brainstem. This is the only cranial nerve which arises from the posterior aspect. After emerging out, it winds around the superior cerebellar peduncle and cerebral peduncle to reach the anterior aspect. This is how it reaches anteriorly. Here we can observe trochlear nerve. Here it is. This is also placed between the same two arteries like oculomotor nerve. Superiorly it is posterior cerebral artery, inferiorly it is superior cerebellar artery. In relation to oculomotor nerve, trochlear nerve is laterally located. Once it reaches forward, trochlear nerve also takes entry into cavernous sinus. This is how it is in cavernous sinus related to lateral wall between oculomotor nerve above and first branch of ophthalmic division below. As it travels forward away from cavernous sinus, this also takes entry into superior orbital fissure to take entry into orbital cavity. Trochlear nerve is here. It is taking entry into superior orbital fissure, but outside the annular ring of Zinn. As it travels forward, it distributes its branches into superior oblique muscle. Let us look at it from front view. This is trochlear nerve coming out outside the annular ring of Zinn and supplying superior oblique muscle. There are few peculiarities of trochlear nerve. It emerges from the dorsal aspect of the brainstem. It decussates. This is the only peripheral nerve which decussates before taking exit on the surface of central nervous system. And this is the thinnest cranial nerve among all. Trochlear nerve damage can cause diplopia, that is double vision. In persons with trochlear nerve damage, the position of the head is somewhat peculiar. The action of superior oblique is depression, intorsion, and abduction. This was also known as popping muzzle. Once depression, abduction, and intorsion is affected, person is suffering from downward gaze. He always wants to keep that eye where it attends or tries to meet upward gaze. In this person, say this is affected eye, to keep this eye always in upward gaze, the position of this eye in head will be somewhat posteriorly and inferior. To meet this position, person will tilt on the same side. The position of the head will be somewhat tilted forward to the sound side.